What's going on, Stoneham? I'm Dennis, and you're watching Stoneham TV. Thank you for joining me for episode 2 of What's Going On, Stoneham. This is our weekly show where we talk about things happening in and around our great town. And starting off today, we want to, as always, look at the Chamber newsletter to see what's going on Thursday, April 20th from 10 a.m. to noon, there is a Women in the Workforce virtual conference. Last year, 3 million women left the workforce, largely due to the pressures of the pandemic. Join the Lexington Chamber for an examination of these issues with Secretary Rosalind Acosta of the Department of Labor and Workforce Development in Massachusetts. A panel discussion will follow with women leaders. So log on to stonehamchamber.org to register and for more information. If your business is located in downtown Stoneham, please complete the survey that you'll find at www.stonehamchamber.org. The town of Stoneham is participating in the local rapid response program to help recovery plans for targeted downtowns and commercial districts. Your input will help develop a plan that meets the needs of local businesses and inform future policy decisions. And while you're on stonehamchamber.org, go ahead and sign up for their weekly newsletter. You can find out all this information before you tune into Stoneham TV. Joining me now is DJ Bono of Spinner Music Productions. Welcome.
Thanks, Dennis.
We want to talk about what's going on with the schools with regard to reopening and activities that might be coming up. And I understand you know all about that.
Yeah, I've had my hand in the pot in the governor's office for the last 8 months or so. So we've been very carefully keeping an eye on the guidance, and then obviously Stoneham hits home for me. So we've been kind of working very, very closely with the principal, Brian Lombardi, over there at Stoneham High School, as well with Brianna Nims, Brianna Henderson, the senior and junior class advisor, and also with the nursing team over there as well. They're definitely under a lot of pressure, for sure. But the events are allowed to happen again. They can go forward with their graduation. They can go forward with their senior week activities, junior prom, senior prom. Everything can happen, albeit a little adjusted. You won't see kids packing a dance floor this year. They can dance. They can have a dance floor. But we're probably going to err on the side of caution and keep things a little bit more restricted just for the end of this year, which is unfortunate for the seniors because they lost their junior prom last year. They're going to lose their normal senior prom this year. It'll definitely look a lot different. It's not going to be at Danvers-Port or Tewksbury Country Club like they normally do. It'll be in the high school football field. Each event will be a mirror of the other one. So the senior prom will happen first, the junior prom just about a week later. And it'll be a 3-tent setup on the football field. That way we can keep everyone kind of spaced apart. So it'll be 2 dinner tents and then 1 huge socializing tent. That way, instead of having multiple tables and chairs and a dance floor under 1 tent, it's all going to happen all separately. A caterer we're working with right now to have some socially distant staff passed or staff served buffet. I think it's going to lean towards like a food truck style, which actually could get kind of interesting for the kids. I know one of the big things is we're working to see if we can get Chick-fil-A, which will be interesting. There's a couple, I'd say, unorthodox prom activities that'll be going on that hopefully, we spent a lot of time working with the school staff and administration to come up with some socially distant activities that aren't, playing duck, duck, goose during prom. So those would be actual some physical products that I can't say yet what they'll be. But essentially we're going to be taking up the entire football field and track footprint to make this all happen. There'll be a lot of options, including dancing. There will be lights spinning around. There'll be very loud music until 10 o'clock when we have to shut it down. There'll be a lot of food, lots of different types of food, a couple possibly actual food trucks there. Miss Nims at the high school has been working very hard and very long on this with Mr. Lombardi, the principal. So it should be an exciting, the senior prom again will happen first and then the junior prom about a week later.
Now, have they said anything about graduation ceremonies? Are they planning on doing an in-person graduation this year?
Stoneham is doing an in-person graduation. They're going to do a similar to what they did last year for the seniors and do a graduation drive-by parade, not an actual ceremony, the day before on Thursday. I think that's the 3rd. Thursday, June 3rd, we'll have a drive-by parade for the kids throughout the town. That may actually become a tradition post-COVID as well. It seemed to have was really well accepted last year. Yeah. And then on Friday, June 4th, will be their graduation. And as long as we're expecting some major announcement from the state of Massachusetts on May 6th, that'll have additional guidance that I'm not really at liberty to say on camera and recording right now. What I can say is it will bring numbers up. It'll open up a lot of other businesses that are still currently closed. It'll reduce a lot of restrictions on things such as sporting events and concerts, albeit they'll still be under a capacity restriction probably throughout the summer. But Massachusetts is one of the last in the country to kind of enter its final reopening phase. I mean, we have an office also in Fort Lauderdale, and that's been open fully since May, oh, mostly since May. And as of September 7th, we went to 100% up there or down there. So if that trend of what we saw of how like the general public went back to events and to restaurants and to life, it seemed to spring back very quickly. So when we had our announcement back in May that everything was going to start reopening again, a lot of flights were booked down to Florida. I'll tell you that. The beaches were packed again. When September came, concerts were back on, sporting events were back on. I got to see Tom Brady and the Bucks play back in December in Tampa. They were at 25% then. Then by the time the Super Bowl came around, they were at almost 50%. So it's nice to see the return down there and how they've been handling it. And I think Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York right now are kind of sticking together buddy with their reopening. And surprisingly, Mass actually may be one of the more lenient ones compared to Rhode Island and New York as far as what has to happen to get these kids to their graduation, their prom the way they want. Such as in New York and Rhode Island, there must be every single guest in person must be tested before the event, where here it's just going to be an attestation form, the honor system pretty much, assuming that the vaccination program rollout here has been ramping up pretty quickly. They're expecting that most of these students, especially the student athletes, I think are the first ones that are going to really be good and vaccinated quickly. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it goes well.
Yeah. Well, that sounds pretty exciting. Now, is there anything else happening with the school system that's coming up?
They so with the recent passing of Mr. Jim Carino, the king of Carnival Ball, last year, I believe Carnival Ball actually did happen. It was right before the school shut down. This year, it's obviously with Jimmy gone, it's going to be a big loss. He was a close friend of mine, a mentor of mine, but him and I had worked on that for about 10 years. So that is actually going to be done virtually. There may possibly be a hybrid component to it later next month, but to keep the tradition going, it will happen this year. Part of the senior prom will be kind of a playing, I guess, of Carnival Ball. So it may not air to the general public. It may be a Stoneham TV thing later, come mid-June or so. Mm-hmm. But that'll be a huge event, albeit different. It won't be in the auditorium. It'll be the kids are working really hard, getting really creative. There's I forget the gentleman's name that stepped up to try to fill Jimmy's shoes, and obviously big shoes to fill to put on something like Carnival Ball, where it's a tradition that really only Stoneham has, and it's only comparable to like a Mr. SHS type thing. So that'll be something big. I'm not totally in tune. My assistant Blair is working very closely with Brianna on that. So I'm excited to see how that comes out.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you for joining us today and giving us this update on what's going on in Stoneham. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dennis.
Gaetano's restaurant wants to remind the community that in addition to dining, takeout, and delivery options, they provide catering services as well. If you are hosting a business function, a private function, a family function, and need good food, you never know who's going to show up to serve it for off-site catering. There's the DJ Bono, who we just talked about, standing there with Chef Esteban at a recent event. He's a man of many talents, DJ, and he jumped in to help serve when the food service got a little slammed at a recent function. So if you need a place to hold your event, speak to Gaetano's, call them at 781-279-0100 or log on to gaetanosfood.com. Sign up for pottery classes at Ceramica on Main Street in Stoneham. They have 2 classes opening up in April with limited spots available. Visit their site and register online. There's a new class for 5 and 6-year-olds, so reserve your spot now, ceramicapaintstudio.com. There are only a few spots left for Ceramica's April school vacation workshops. Register for one or all of them. Jump online at www.ceramicapaintstudio.com or call them at 781-666-1718. I found out about what's happening at Ceramica because they posted it online and tagged it, hashtag WGO Stoneham. WGO Stoneham, what's going on? So if you have something going on in the community that you'd like everyone to know, please don't hesitate to post it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and hashtag WGO Stoneham, and we'll let the community know. I'm Dennis for Stoneham TV. Thank you for watching this episode of What's Going On Stoneham. We'll see you next week.